the coin toss, and they elected to receive. And we are underway. Keydets, an FCS program out of the SoCon, 0-2 this year, and they're going to rely on a young redshirt freshman making his first career start, Chandler Wilson, freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Carter High School. He is in there for the injured Colin Shannon. Wilson last week came off the bench. He orchestrated a late touchdown drive, and they're lost to Bucknell. VMI from the 25, and expect a steady dose of number 24, Hunter Rice, and he goes nowhere. Penetration immediately. They brought Tay Seymour up in on the stop and force a big moment for Wilson. What do you expect from VMI to settle him into this game?
Well, they're going to try to get the rushing attack going. They want to run the football. They want to run side to side. They want to get this Georgia Tech defense running side to side and then try to get that north-south game going. This is a very aggressive defense, so they have to make sure they get good reads and good fits from those offensive linemen.
Quick throw, it is caught. This is Ivan Thorpe, their most dangerous weapon from the outside, but just no room to work. Gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, and that'll set up a 3rd and 9.
And I thought Thorpe should have turned that ball to the outside. You've got pursuit coming from the inside. I didn't like the fact that he turned to the outside. It was a tough catch for him. Wilson has to do a better job of putting it where his ball carrier or receiver can get it in motion, moving the direction that he wants to be moving in, as opposed to changing and turning around, trying to twist and get possession of that football.
Tyler Santucci, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, talked about getting off the field on these 3rd downs. They had a tough time a week ago. Their first test today, they swing it out to the flat. The freshman Shipe with the catch, trying to barrel his way toward the 1st down marker. He is shouldered out by Amari Harvey, and they'll be a 2 yards shy, setting up a 4th down for Rocco and the Keydets.
And you have to know the down and distance. You see the coaching staff talking to him because he stepped out of bounds. He needed to cut that back inside. Number 11, Prodigo, he had the block. If you cut that back up inside, I think he had an opportunity to get the 1st down. But you have to recognize the down and distance and know where you need to get to the sticks.
3 and out to start this game. Ben Shrewsbury with a terrific punt line drive. This will drive Rodney Shelley back near his 10 in special teams coverage. Tackled right there in his tracks. Great job by the Keydets on the special teams with Joe Camella. Well, ever since Brett Key took over this program, his guy has been Haynes King, getting ready for his 17th start as a Yellow Jacket, and he has been brilliant. You see the completion percentage, 7th best in the country, and maybe most importantly, he's really cut back on the turnover. A year after throwing 16 of them, as far as interceptions go, just the 1 this year. From the 11-yard line, they will hand it off, and Jamal Haynes slips free from 1, giving ground, and he is chased down by Dorian Starnes. A tackle for loss back at the 5.
And a good job by Henry Burling, number 43, to get penetration, get up the field. Don't allow Haynes to get to the outside. It's a dangerous play if you're a defender because you've got to get a hold of him. Haynes has the ability, once he gets to the edge, to get north and south with that speed. So a good job by Burling, turning him back inside where the pursuit was coming from.
Starnes, one of the main weapons on this defensive line, 3-year starter, captain. Makes the impact play, and King from his own goal line will pitch it. Haynes trying to get wide, escapes 1, and then he is knocked out of bounds. Coming up on the play was the freshman Asa Locks.
And they got away with the holding on that play. Number 85 on the outside, the tight end Jackson Hawes was holding the defender. But if you see what VMI is doing, they're showing 8-man at the line of scrimmage. And what that does to an offensive lineman, that gets into their heads. They have to try and get their pre-snap reads. When you've got all of those defenders in all of the gaps, they're trying to figure out what their blocking assignments are. And that's very dangerous when you're this deep to your own, this close to your own goal line.
Put Haynes way out high to the top of the screen. That's Jackson Hawes, the tight end, to the right. King's gonna roll right, wants the home run ball, has a receiver open, making the catch, At the 44, it's Eric Singleton.
And you see the rover on that play, Seamus Jones.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Oh, and he lost the ball at the end. You've got to maintain control of the football. If you watch, I thought Haynes King should have got rid of this ball a little bit earlier. He allowed the defender to see where he was going with the football, and the defender tracked him and was able to knock the ball loose with a good hit on the receiver on the back end of that play. Asa Locks, a great job getting across the field. But if you watch on that play, he was open for a while. I don't know if Haynes King didn't see him until late, but it allowed Asa Locks to get over there and get a hit on him and jar that ball loose.
And you saw Singleton still feeling the effects of that hit by Locks. So it looked like he had it, just lost it as he hit the turf, and a 3-and-out for Georgia Tech. And David Shanahan to punt deep in his own end zone. It's the kick away, and VMI will back off, and this one will come to a rest at the Georgia Tech 48. It's a punt of 41 yards. Each team has had it once. No score from Atlanta.
Referee mic check, 1-2.
You want your program to win some football games, you bring in Danny Rocco, year 2 at VMI, and you look at what he has done immediately upon arrival. The column on the left, what that program did the year before he arrived on campus. Liberty, Richmond, Delaware, and then last year the Keydets improving from an 0-8 mark to winning 5 games, a team that was predicted last in the SoCon. They finished right at an even 500. Tremendous coach, really enjoying his first year and a half in Lexington as Thorpe has his second touch. Ivan Thorpe up ahead to the 43.
And one of the things VMI wants to do is spread this Georgia Tech defense out, try to get the ball to their playmakers in space. They feel like that is where they can get something done one-on-one, their man versus the Georgia Tech man on the outside. So I think you'll continue to see these 3 and 4 wide sets from VMI.
Both these teams banged up a little bit. You look at VMI, the receiving core, no Egypt Nelson, no VJ Johnson today. Nelson's a great big target at 6'5". Second down, Rice nowhere to go, stood up at the line of scrimmage. Good job there by Thomas Gore, the transfer from Miami.
And Gore is a difficult player to block. He's 6 feet, 290 pounds, so he has a natural low center of gravity. And he does a good job of firing off with the flat back. As an offensive lineman, when you've got a shorter defensive lineman, you've got to be squatty, you've got to sit down in your stance, and you've got to have a flat back as well and fire off, and you've got to play with violent hands.
Depth was an issue coming into the season for Georgia Tech up front. They bring in Vandenberg from Penn State, Gore from Miami. Drag pattern caught and then knocked free. Ball loose. Let's see how they rule this. And they're going to say catch and a fumble. Georgia Tech gets the takeaway as Powell Lee ends up with it.
And it'll be interesting to see if he actually made a football move on this play. I know they'll review this. Good job by the offensive line, giving Wilson the time that he needed. He scanned the field. I'm interested to see if they'll consider this a football move or not. You've got to have a foot. So did he get possession? That's close. It almost looks like he did not have full possession of that football.
It was Amari Harvey who put the hit on.
There's a catch, fumble, recovered by the defense. The play is under further review.
Danny Rocco wants this one to go upstairs, and they will for the first time. A replay official, Steve Jost, to take a look. Again, Harvey able to put the hit on that right now, if this call stands, will create the turnover, something that's been missing from this Georgia Tech defense through the first 3 weeks.
And what I like what Harvey did, he led with his shoulder and he put his shoulder pad on the football. Too often we see guys trying to make the big highlight hit and not tackle the proper way. That's a good job of putting the shoulder pad on the football. But my question is, did he have possession of that football and make a football move? That will be the big question.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Georgia Tech.
So the takeaway for the Yellow Jackets, and the defense comes up with the turnover.
And although it turned out to be a bad play for VMI, that's something positive for them to look at on the sideline when they go back and look at the play chart. The quarterback had a lot of time, Sean, to look down the field. He went through his progressions. So I know that's something that Coach Key and his staff will try to fix when they get back on the defensive side of the football in obvious passing downs. Coach Santucci, they want to affect the quarterback. That's something they talked about, affecting the quarterback defensively.
Saw that last graphic. This defense has had their share of trouble stopping the opponent through the years, but the takeaway has always been a strength. And now a lot of attention on number 28 as he makes his Georgia Tech debut. Trelain Maddox, the freshman from Parkview, his first collegiate carry. Georgia Tech will go tempo for the first time. King gets rid of it quickly and tripped up. Ball popped free late, but he was clearly down. That was Malik Rutherford, who was able to make the catch, pick up the first down.
The ruling on the field is the receiver was down prior to the ball becoming loose.
And that was a dangerous angle by Seamus Jones, because if he doesn't make that tackle right there, he is still, Malik Rutherford is still running down the field. There's no one else there. You've got to make sure you make that tackle. You can't come flying up there. You got to break down and make those tackles. Good job by Jones, but you've got to take a better angle. I'm sure Georgia Tech will go back to that play and see if they can get Rutherford down the field.
Maddox flanks King to his right, play fake. Haynes King wants to go deep, sips it over the middle, caught at the 30. Up ahead to the 27, it's a gain of 23 yards and another Georgia Tech first down with Chase Lane.
And a good job by Lane, finding the hole in coverage and sitting down, giving his quarterback a target to throw to.
Singleton, Stockton, Hawes to the right. That's the big tight end, Hawes in motion. Nice cut by Maddox. You see his vision as he takes it to the 13, another double-digit yard gallop.
And that's that other option that they're looking for with Haynes. They need another back. It's kind of like that power back for him. 6'1", 210 pounds, and you see his vision. He's showing early. He's a patient runner. He knows where to go with the football.
Georgia Tech keeps that foot on the gas. Maddox with his third carry. Sidestep Rankin initially. Falls ahead to the 11.
And it was interesting when the Georgia Tech coaches talked about Maddox. They talked about him being ready to play, being cleared to play, but they wanted to take their time and make sure he was 100% healthy and could go out and be the best Maddox possible. And you're seeing that type of production from him on this drive.
Yeah, he was cleared medically about a month ago, but like you mentioned, they wanted to make sure he was all right as King takes a shot to the end zone, missing Singleton, and a third down coming up.
And a good job by Henry Burling, number 43, getting immediate pressure in King's face. If he doesn't, I think King has the time to deliver a strike on that play.
They go empty set. Avery Boyd, the inside slot. The receiver now tied in. Big target. King looks his way. Boyd had it go through his arms, incomplete. Would have been 6. Took his eyes off it. And Georgia Tech will send out the field goal unit.
Well, VMI told Haynes King on that play prior to the snap of the football, you've got to get rid of it. We've got 6 at the line of scrimmage, more than you can block, so we will have immediate pressure. But the receiver, you've got to help your quarterback, Avery Boyd, squeeze that football. When I look at film of Avery Boyd, he's got soft hands. That's a catch he usually makes. And I think he just got a little bit excited because he knew he would have a touchdown if he got that reception.
28-yard field goal attempt for Aiden Burr, and it is good. So Georgia Tech fires the opening salvo. They go a little up-tempo. Danny Rocco, that's a moral victory. Grambling wrecked by 3.
Set the game clock to 7 minutes, 26 seconds. 7:26 on the game clock, please. Please set the game clock to 7 minutes, 26 seconds. 7:26.
Remember to report any issues during the game.
Please set the game clock.
Please text us 78247.
Please set the game clock to 7 minutes.
Go into games saying you win the games you're supposed to win, you compete in the games you're supposed to lose. Well, Coach Rocco is one of those coaches, we're going to try to win every game. We don't care what the odds are, and his team is competing, and they're going to challenge this Georgia Tech team all afternoon. They're going to show some exotic blitzes. They're going to show some exotic play calling on the offensive side of the football. The challenge will be, can the Georgia Tech football team stay patient and stay within themselves and stay in the moment. I think that's what you're seeing so far from this VMI ball club. They didn't get rattled with their backs close to their own end zone. They didn't get rattled with the turnover. They held them to 3 points.
Playing up, nothing new for VMI. They always have one FBS opponent on the schedule. Last year it was a trip to Raleigh, NC State. The year prior, Wake Forest. And now here they are in Midtown, and this offense getting ready for their 3rd series.
Referee mic set. Referee mic set.
You know what's interesting about that, when we talked to Coach Faulkner, he said, go look at the first series of the NC State game last year. They had to earn every single yard that they got, and we looked at that and we realized what type of defense we were going to face in this ball game.
Good start throwing the ball for Chandler Wilson, 4 for 4. 19 yards. They start at the 25 and kind of stuttering from under center, and there is nowhere to go for Luke Shallow. He is swallowed up by Kyle Leaford, one of the fan favorites.
And some of the things that Georgia Tech is doing a better job of this season is they're occupying those offensive linemen, allowing those linebackers to flow downhill. You see on that play, Bryce Burnett is trying to climb to the linebackers level, but he's already flowing downhill, and he doesn't have an opportunity to get hands on him.
Move the pocket right. Wilson looking now, pressure comes, and he's sacked back at the 13. Trinilius Tatum, who's having a terrific start to the season with the sack.
And that play was made by number 88, Zeke Biggers. Watch the big fella get to the outside, so he makes the running back, Luke Shallow, have to stay in and protect the quarterback, and that allows Tatum to get up the field. If you look at the play is designed for Shallow to get to the outside and be able to cover Tatum up, but because of pursuit by the big fella from the defensive tackle position, he had to turn back and block him, giving Tatum free rein to the quarterback.
3rd and long, they go conservative with the draw. Machias Scott and this Georgia Tech defense forcing a 3-and-out. So what a start here defensively for the Yellow Jackets. They come into this game just the 1 takeaway and only 2 sacks. They have 1 of each so far here in this first quarter.
Well, they're dictating what the quarterback can do. They're getting pressure with the interior linemen, and they're affecting the blocking schemes. That play before this 3rd down, the defensive tackle affected the blocking scheme, allowing for the linebacker to get there and make the play.
Shrewsbury gets the wobbler, charging ahead, and the momentum carrying Shelley out of bounds. But for the 2nd straight series, Georgia Tech will have the football in great starting shape.
Referee mic check. Referee mic.
It's been a whirlwind of 3 weeks for Brent Key and Georgia Tech. They start the year with that huge win against Florida State over in Dublin. They come back, win here at home against Georgia State, then an ACC loss on the road. And he talked about it, this team's still looking to really put grasp around their firm identity.
Well, we've got to see consistency. We haven't seen a sustained drive. They need to get a good mix of run and pass. I think that is what Coach Key and the staff are looking for.
Trying to get Singleton in space, and he has the corner. Runs out of bounds after a gain of 22 yards. They love to use these ends, both Singleton and Rutherford in the sweep action.
And watch number 9, Avery Boyd, on this play. This is what you ask for your guy on the outside. Take him out. You know, that is what you want to get, lead blockers in front of your backs, in front of your receivers. Get those athletes in space. Eric Singleton, Rutherford, Lane, Leary, you want to get those guys in space to allow them to use their speed.
They're going to say he stepped out at the 35. Now Rutherford picks up a block. He'll turn on the Jets. Rutherford to the 10-5. See you. Touchdown, Georgia Tech.
And just what the doctor ordered, get the ball to your playmakers out in space. You see the tunnel screen on that play. You see Rutherford able to cut it up. His offensive players did a good job of blocking for him on the outside. And once he gets to the outside, if we even, I'm leaving. That's the type of speed that he has. And you saw him able to basically jog towards the end zone, towards the corner, to the pylon to get the touchdown.
Rutherford was one of the question marks coming into today. Would he go? Went through the practices all week and immediately made an impact here in this first quarter.
And watch the quick pass to the outside. Good blocking. Offensive linemen getting out there blocking. Running backs, receivers. That is what you want to see on that play. VMI never had an opportunity to make a defensive play because Georgia Tech ran that play to perfection with those offensive linemen getting out on the edge and getting down the field to give them a convoy all the way to the end zone.
King said that one's pretty easy. His 4th touchdown pass of the year. Rutherford, who became the 25th Yellow Jacket to go over 1,000 receiving yards in his career last week, has his 2nd touchdown reception of the season, and that's exactly what you were looking for us from Georgia Tech.
You've got to get the ball to your playmakers. Give them space. That is when they're most dangerous. One-on-one, they feel like they will win every one of those battles.
So this offense in a little bit of trouble now on the road. Just inside 5 minutes to go. An offense that has generated just 4 yards of total offense as they begin their 4th series in this opening quarter.
I think for VMI, you've got to get north and south of that rushing attack. You've got to get Hunter Rice going. He's the bell cow for this ball club. And I think when you try and go east and west and then get north and south, that allows this penetrating defense to get up the field. So I think they've got to be more of a north-south. I know they want to get the defense moving side to side, but you've got to get north and south immediately.
New quarterback in. It's JoJo Crump, one of 2 true freshmen who they anticipated on getting some game reps. And what do? You dial his number and introduce him to the ACC, get him hit once or twice. Good surge over that left side, and that's the side of the offensive line that they like to run him behind.
And the thing that Crump brings to the table is an ability to run the ball effectively from the quarterback position. So that's something to be on the lookout for throughout this ball game. When he comes into the game, how does that change the Georgia Tech defense? Do they get into more of a run-oriented defense to try and stop Crump?
So they send Crump to the sideline. They bring in Chandler Wilson, but now he goes split as a wide receiver right as they go Wildcat on this 2nd down. Hunter Rice trying to patiently wait for a hole to open. Good surge by the talented running back. So make it a 3rd and manageable as the Keydets certainly need a first down, something positive to happen.
And I don't think you go east and west with this. I don't think you try to do a sweep or get to the outside. I think you continue to run between the tackles. You see Georgia Tech bringing in a whole new defensive personnel.
Biggers comes back into the game. Vandenberg checks in as well. 3rd down and 2. And it looks like a timeout.
Timeout. VMI, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Kenny Rocco wants to talk about this one. Don't forget, coming up tonight, 8 Eastern over on the ACC Network, it's more college football as Virginia hosts Maryland. It's also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com, the ultimate viewing guide to live sports. This Georgia Tech defense able to get off the field, something they weren't able to do consistently last week.
What they're doing, they're making tackles on the outside. I thought on that play VMI had an opportunity to get the first down, but right here, textbook tackle on the edge to knock the ball loose and get the fumble recovery. And then here, pressure on the quarterback. A good job by the defensive tackle getting to the outside, occupying the protector for the quarterback, allowing the linebacker to get off the field to make the tackle.
Everybody inside the box. They're going to play fake, bootleg out. Diving attempt falls incomplete. Morgan McFall, the tight end. Good coverage on the play by Jackson Hamilton, and another 3rd down that comes up short for VMI.
And bootleg, running a bootleg play with everyone lined up, basically in a goal line, goal defense is very difficult because the quarterback has immediate pressure. As soon as Wilson turned around to look for his receiver, he had 2 defenders in his face. I think you go with the quick pass game. If you want to get something to the outside, maybe look at a jet sweep because you've got a back in motion getting the football, but I don't like that play call.
3rd punt of the afternoon for Shrewsbury. Line drive, short kick, and it will go out of bounds. 41-yard punt by Shrewsbury. Georgia Tech starting to take over this game late in this first quarter.
And I think for Georgia Tech, you still want to work on that rushing attack, that run game. You've got to get that run game going. This is an opportunity for their linemen to work on their fits, work on the flat back, work on firing off, work on getting inside hands. As they progress through the conference play, they will have to be able to run the ball effectively if they want to continue to win football games.
Balanced offensive attack so far. 6 running plays, 6 through the air for King. The most effective rusher has been the freshman, Trelain Maddox. Haynes in the game on this 1st down play. He lines to the left of King, gets the call, makes 1 man miss, keeps his balance, and A 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago falls up to the 33.
And a good job by VMI on the counter play. You see the guard and the tackle pulling from the strong side, but then you've got the back coming back around. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to occupy the eyes of the safety and the linebacker, get them flowing one way and get the back going the opposite way. Good job by VMI reacting and not going for the eye candy.
12 personnel, and they swing it out. Haynes with the quick catch. He squirts ahead to the 39, running behind his two tight ends, Josh Beetham and Jackson Hawes, two really physical tight ends.
And the coaching staff love Hawes, the Yale transfer. They talk about his nastiness on the outside, his ability to run through defenders.
All Ivy selection from Yale. Play fake, King. Pressure comes, he'll let her fly deep downfield. Looking in stride and making the catch is Singleton. First and goal, Georgia Tech. 56 yards.
And you cannot get caught with the eye candy. A good job by King on the ball fake. And you see the receiver, Singleton, coming all the way across the field. The offensive lineman gave Haynes King the time that he needed to find his receiver, allow him to get down the field and get the ball to him.
Stretch play to the right and nowhere to go. Haynes is tracked down. Excellent pursuit. Noel Innocent, the senior corner, coming up.
And that could have been called a horse collar because he had his hands inside the top of the jersey.
It's a loss of 4 on the play. They go empty. Haynes leaves the backfield over the middle. They dump it off. It's the tight end. Hawes bulldozering his way close to a first down.
And a good job by Haynes King reading what the defense was doing. They had 8 on the line of scrimmage. They dropped 3 back into coverage after the ball was snapped. He was able to get the ball to his tight end. He found a hole, the tight end did, and gave his quarterback a target. And a good job by the tight end getting yards after the catch.
Was one of the 3 tight end transfers they brought this offseason. Still can pick up a first down, 3rd and a yard, and they will play some power football, zigzagging his way near the goal line, and Georgia Tech on the doorstep as we wind down this first quarter.
And this is an opportunity for the goal line offense to get pushed at the point of attack. You tell your offensive linemen basically get on all fours or 4-point stance. You want to uproot those guys. You want to get lower. The lower man is going to win at the point of attack.
Zach Pyron, who they like to use on these goal line situations, he will go in for 6. Touchdown for the redshirt sophomore.
Great job by the Georgia Tech offensive line, firing off the football, giving Pyron exactly what he needed to basically walk into the end zone. He got touched after he got over the goal line. Good job getting pushed at the point of attack. They're winning at the line of scrimmage right now.
7 plays, 73-yard drive, a little more than 3 minutes. And this time a trip into the red zone. Net 6.
You see the offensive lineman zone blocking, everybody blocking down. So basically what you've got is Pyron one-on-one with the defender, and they feel like Pyron is going to win that every time. And you see right there, he basically runs through the defender, Corey Crump, who's trying to get there. He's trying to do everything he can to try and get to Pyron before he gets to the goal line. But by the time Crump got there, Pyron had already crossed over and gotten a touchdown.
That's a 2nd rushing touchdown this season. Go back through his years, he had his first rushing touchdown in 2022. Saw extended time that year. Coming in off the bench, started a game on the road at Virginia Tech, led Georgia Tech to a win in Blacksburg. Then he got injured. Following week against Miami, which cost him the rest of the 22 season. Did not get a lot of snaps last year with the arrival of Haynes King, but they have found a role for him on those short yardage situations. Swirling wind inside Bobby Dodd Stadium. Another touchback. And plays on, and the light missed as Georgia Tech has expanded their lead now to 17.
VMI has to get something going on this drive. I think they need to take their time, let the clock run, don't be in a rush, but they've got to get something going. I think they need to go to the quick pass game. I think they need to go to some misdirection as well. With the aggression that this Georgia Tech defense is playing with, you've got to do something to counter that. So I think some misdirection, some quick pass game, you know, get some quick twitch stuff going with your offense.
And before this play could start, some movement up front.
Snap infraction. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
It's one of the leaders for us up front, and Cole Holtz.
And you've got to hold the ball. You can't simulate. You see right there, that little jerk that he did right there. That simulates the snap count, and that can pull the defender off. They'll call that every time. You're the center. You know the snap of the football. You've just got to be patient. And a lot of that happens because you've got defenders in your face, and you're thinking about your blocking assignment and want to make sure you're able to get to where you need to get to.
Holtz has played a lot of football for VMI, 2-year starter. Late shifting up front by Georgia Tech, and they will run the jet sweep, trying to get to the outside, and a positive play as a flag flies. Aislinn Shipe tiptoeing his way along the Georgia Tech sideline, but it's coming back.
Offense number 88. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
And if you watch Morgan McFall on this play, it's a straight.
After back-to-back penalties, deep in their own end, 1st and a mile, they run that jet sweep. Destin Moore just unable to get anything going, and that has been the storyline so far. This Georgia Tech defense, 11 total yards allowed, a fumble recovery, a sack, and 4 TFLs.
And I think Coach Santucci is feeling really, really good about the production of his defense so far. They're doing a good job of deciphering what VMI is trying to do, getting a hat on a hat, and covering up everything that they have on the field offensively.
Second down, Wilson sidearms it, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Zachary Toby, the young sophomore, the first-year transfer out of Illinois, getting a hand in.
And one of the things that Georgia Tech is able to do is play 2 high safeties, because what they've been able to do defensively, keeping everything in front of them. I think VMI has to try to look to get the quick pass game going. You've got to get it to your playmakers early. Get it to them in space. You want to get some more confidence in your young quarterback.
Yellow Jackets drop off, 3rd down and long, stepping up in the pocket over the middle. Thorpe with the catch, has some work to do, and he has stood up as a flag flies. Tackled out of bounds at the 25. Again, it's Toby with the stop. Let's see what the laundry is all about.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense number 11. The penalty is declined. The play results in a 4th down.
So Trace Pettico trying to help out his buddy, one of the receivers, with the blindside block.
The foul was on number 13.
Actually going to change it to Ethan Horn, one of 4 true freshman receivers that we're expecting to see today because of the injuries to B.J. Johnson and Egypt Nelson, 2 critical weapons missing that Rocco normally has the luxury of throwing to. Busy first half for Shrewsbury. His best punt of the day, Shelley from the 25, makes the cut, 35-40. Shelley looking to reverse direction, now puts on the brakes. High steps his way to the 45, plus territory on the return of 31.
And a good job by Shelley, allowing his blockers to get down, following his blockers. Does a good job of cutting back across the grain, cutting back across the field, continuing to be shifty, showing that quick twitch that you look for in a returner, but also protecting the football at the same time, keeping it high and tight. You've got defenders coming from all over the field, from all over with different angles, trying to get a hat on that football. Good job covering that football up and keeping it close to his body.
Singleton in motion, first down. King again, all sorts of time. He'll put some air on it. Chase Lane with the catch. Boy, you give King this type of protection, already one of the more accurate passers in college football, and he's going to have a huge day.
And King is doing a good job of going through his progressions, knowing where he wants to go with the football, looking at what the defense is giving him. A good job with his pre-snap reads.
22 yards, Lane with his second catch. Those two going back to their days at College Station at Texas A&M. Empty set, King whips it out near side, short gain, Rutherford with the grab.
And watch King on this play. He has all the time that he needs. The receiver does a good job of getting down the field, pressing the defensive back, and then turning out on that out route. That's what you want to do as a receiver. Press that defensive back, make him turn those hips prematurely, and then you can get to your route, the top of your route.
Mr. Faulkner, the offensive coordinator, talking about what it means to have a fully healthy Chase Lane back this year. He was dinged up a season ago. Security blanket for King. Getting to the outside, and a touchdown saving tackle made by Seamus Jones as Maddox will move the sticks. Another trip into the red zone for Georgia Tech.
You see a little bit of the rust on Maddox because the old Maddox will high step up out of there, and I think the more touches he gets, the more comfortable he gets with running the football again after those injuries. You'll see him score on plays like that. But once again, the ability of the big guy to get to the outside, great feet, good footwork, getting to the edge, and you see the power when he runs the football.
He goes in motion. This was going to be a run all the way for King, but a flag down. This will be on Georgia Tech. It's been a busy first half.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 67, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Busy first half for our referee, Tim Hedgepeth.
And Fusel know he has to get that reach block, so he's taking off a little bit early because he knows the center is bailing on him, so he's got to get inside of that defensive tackle, but you've got to wait till the ball is snapped. I understand the urgency, but you've got to wait till the football is snapped.
Fusel making his 25th career start today. It's the first penalty this afternoon against Georgia Tech. From the 18, Jamal Haynes makes a couple of defenders miss. Haynes with the stiff arm, then he lost the football. And fortunately for the Rambling Wreck, it goes out of bounds. King was following his running back, and maybe just the wet conditions causing that ball to squeeze free.
The ball was fumbled forward and out of bounds. The ball will be returned to the spot of the fumble where it's second down.
And the ball just kind of sat there for a minute after he fumbled it. Then it rolled on out of bounds.
Corey Crump might have got a hand in there as he reached around. So second and a yard. On the read option, they will hand it off, spinning his way near the goal line. This will pick up the first down. Henry Burling lassoing the running back down. There's an injured Kedet way in the back of the end zone. Looks like that's Jabari Haslam, their starting linebacker.
And Henry Burling has been all over the field early in this football game. Number 43 has done a good job of getting penetration up the field for that defense for VMI.
Injury timeout. We'll be back with more from Atlanta right after these words. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who've inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. And some of the heroes here in the community, some of the educators being honored after that timeout. Zach Pyron back into the game as the quarterback. He has one rushing touchdown already. Make that two as he goes into the end zone, standing up. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
And Pyron does a good job of following his tight ends. You see everybody slanting down. Pyron has basically no defender there, because the Georgia Tech offensive line and the tight ends did a good job of driving everything down to the inside.
Aiden Burr stays perfect. Pyron with a couple of rushing touchdowns. Georgia Tech goes 6 plays, 55 yards. Making it look easy. The big block from the tight end beat them. Pyron has number 2. Let's take a look at some of the early storylines today. Week 3 of this college football season. Alabama wins on the road. Wisconsin loses their starting quarterback early. Tie rolls 42-10. LSU survives a scare, high-scoring game, 36-33, and then Missouri knocks off number 24 Boston College. Top 25 matchup there as Cook goes for 264. Mizzou 27-21 over BC.
And Mizzou's been under the radar a little bit. That's a team that I think everybody needs to be weary of and watch out for. They're playing some really good football right now. Tough game today with Boston College. A tough Boston College team came up there, played their hearts out, but Mizzou was able to pull that one out.
4 ACC teams squaring off against Power 4 teams this week. Georgia Tech defense has been solid today, and they are without the services of LaMiles Brooks, who was held out today. This is a banged-up team. Again, they've made the trip to Dublin, then back-to-back games with Georgia State, Syracuse. They had a number of players get dinged up, and Brooks unable to go today. And Tyler Santucci has watched his defense keep VMI off the score tally. No points, no first downs. Dominating showing so far.
And the coaching staff talked about coming back from Ireland, playing a tough crosstown rival. Well, I wouldn't say rival, but a tough crosstown team in Georgia State that wanted to get that win. A very emotional win for this Georgia Tech ball club.
Here for the first time, a little space opens up, finding a crevice is Hunter Rice. And this is a terrific running back when you look at Rice, averaging over 7 yards per carry this season.
You see Rice able to find the seam, cut it up, get north and south, and get positive yards. And I think that's what you need to do if you're VMI. Find ways to get Hunter Rice the football, hand it off to him, get the short pass game going, let him get in the wildcat. But you've got to get the ball in Hunter Rice's hands and let him be your workhorse offensively. That will open up opportunities on the outside.
He has been the offense through the first couple of weeks for VMI. Started the year at William and Mary, and then last week with Bucknell. And for the first time today, the Keydets will move the sticks. Rice gets 2, tackled on the play by Jackson Hamilton. Take a look what Rice has done this year, and it's been all number 24, 247 yards. And they're looking very similar to Georgia Tech, trying to find that guy to relieve him a little bit and take some of the offensive pressure off of him.
Well, they want to use Luke Shallow, number 21, as the offset back with Rice to help shoulder some of that load.
Not much on first down. Jordan Vandenberg, the transfer from Penn State. Boy, you talk about an athlete, South African native, benches 455 pounds, cleans 380, squats 690, runs a 4.740. One of those freaks of nature as far as strength goes.
Explosive football player is the way to just describe that when you talk about the strength in his lower body and the strength in his upper body. Just an explosive player at the point of attack.
It's been 3 years in Happy Valley. Deep ball down the sideline, broken up at the last second. Great job there by Toby, as it looked like De Silva had a step.
And Toby never turned around to locate the football, but what he did that was smart, he waited till the ball got there to stick his hand up in there and knock it out. He never turns around to locate the football. He just reads the eyes, and that actually could have been called an interference because he didn't turn around and he got to the receiver prior to the ball getting there.
Toby shaken up. He had to head to the sidelines quickly. Amari Harvey replaces him on this third down. See some late shifting. Lotsky, the tight end, confusion by VMI, and they're forced to burn their second timeout.
VMI, their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
Coming up on the ACC network at 6:30 Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will bring you highlights and complete breakdowns of all the afternoon football games as they get you ready for a good one tonight. Maryland and Virginia at 8 o'clock. And then they'll have a full post-game show to wrap up the evening. That's all coming up, 6:30 Eastern on the ACC network. Rocco forced to use that last time out. VMI trying to find the magic pill here to get a third down conversion. 0 for 5, and it's an area they had struggled through the first 2 weeks as well. Just 31% coming in. Third down. Looks like they want to set up the screen. There's the call you've been waiting for us, but Georgia Tech snipped it out beautifully. Nowhere to go. Romello Height reading it perfectly.
And they have the perfect defense that you want to see when you're running a screen play. They're playing man defense. They've got 8 people at the line of scrimmage. But as an offensive lineman, you've got to sell that. You've got to sell the screen. They did not sell it. You've got to give a great pass set and act as though that defender beat you, and then you turn around and get up the field. They didn't sell it enough. Georgia Tech was able to identify that and get on top of it as soon as he delivered the football.
Late wave of the arm by Shelley, a fair catch. Georgia Tech in control here in this second quarter from the flats. Georgia Tech offensive line, known for their run blocking, but they can get out and make that second wave and reach those linebackers.
Well, one of the things they do extremely well with is getting up to the second level defenders, covering them up, getting in the way, getting down the field. You see on this play right here, number 52, Harrison Moore, the young fellow getting up the field. And right there, great knockout block, not by the offensive lineman on that play, but more by Josh Beetham, the tight end. But the tight ends, to me, are a glorified offensive lineman. They're just a little bit faster and a little bit skinnier.
Play fake, hit as he throws, and a knuckler falls incomplete. A flag is down by where King got popped.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And VMI finally makes an impact play defensively, and they get a personal foul. You see right there, number 5. I don't know about that. It didn't look like he hit him above the shoulder pads. That's a very questionable call. I agree with you, Eric Rankin, on that play. He's talking to the official right now, probably trying to figure out what did he do wrong on that play. I don't see anything wrong on that play. It's a football play. He didn't slap him across the head.
Turns out to be 15 yards. This quick screen has worked well, and the elusive Singleton takes it up to the 43, a gain of 5. Now you take a look at the discrepancy as far as just the sheer size with these two lines, and Georgia Tech with the advantage. They're a big unit, 6'5", 313 pounds against that smaller Keydette front 3.
Well, what you're looking at right there is a 61-pound weight differential across the board and a 3-inch height differential. So what that tells me is you've got bigger, stronger linemen with longer arms, so they're able to get extension on those smaller defensive tackles and smaller defensive ends and get pushed at the point of attack. The way the defensive line has to react and be successful against a huge offensive line like that is they've got to be the lower man. They've got to play flat back football. They've got to get inside hands, and they've got to be the first to make contact.
Tech just hasn't had a lot of third downs today. Quick hitter right up the middle. Spinning his way to a first down is Chad Alexander, who was so pivotal in that opening week game against Florida State, where he carried the ball 7 times, 41 yards for the walk-on. Alexander, the third running back that Georgia Tech has used in this first half. Play fake, they're going to go Alexander's way, and he took his eyes off it, incomplete. Might have heard the footsteps. Dorian Starnes was in pursuit.
He also had Eric Rankin out there as well. Good job by VMI deciphering what Georgia Tech wanted to do offensively on that play and having defenders out to the outside.
Oh, real quickly, just going back to this Georgia Tech offensive line, they brought in Keelan Rutledge from the transfer portal out of Middle Tennessee. Everybody else back. They have a good battle going on at left tackle using both Corey Robinson and Jordan Brown. They love the freshman Harrison Moore, who we've seen make an impact in this first half. Rutledge, as a flag comes in, Rutledge steps out at the 45-yard line. Danny Rocco really letting the side judge hear it.
Holding. Offense number 0. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
One thing when you play for Brent Key as a receiver, you better block. That time the receiver Leary a little bit too long with the hole.
You see right there, you've got to get inside hand. Once again, if you don't have inside hands, they're going to call. You see it right there, grab it. Just take him to the outside, and you allow your receiver, Malik Rutherford, to cut back up to the inside. You allow your athletes to be athletic in space. If you can't take them where you want to take them where they want to go.
Second penalty today for Georgia Tech. 2nd and 19, crossing pattern. It is caught. And Leary is hit. Big time hit there by Corey Crump, who is coming off a career game at 15 tackles from his rover spot.
You know, getting back to that offensive line, and you talked about that earlier, we see first on this play, good job by Haynes King getting on the short crossing route. And a good job by the defender putting a hat on that football by Corey Crump. You want to continue to try and attack that football when those receivers are out in the open field. But looking back at that offensive line, one of the things I thought that was great that Coach Key talked about is he went and brought in Jeep Wade, an offensive line coach with a different philosophy than he had.
Oh, look at the comeback, but unable to make the juggling catch is Singleton. Man, how did King get that ball away? Rankin again breathing down his throat, and he had enough juice to get the football to Singleton, who came up just short.
Well, there's more than they can block, and King knew he had to get rid of the football immediately. As a receiver, when you've got to be able to identify that and give your quarterback somewhere to go with the football immediate. I thought Singleton could have made that route a little bit shorter to give his quarterback an easier route to get the football to him.
David Shanahan's punt inside the 20 for the 4th time this season. Shanahan, the veteran punter. Take a look at the scoreboard across the ACC today. Memphis gives Florida State their 3rd loss of the season. We talked about Missouri knocking off Boston College in a top 25 matchup. Little weather. Coral Gables this afternoon with Miami and Ball State. West Virginia, the early lead on Pitt. Under the lights tonight, it's Ole Miss and Wake, San Diego State and Cal. Wildcat, this is Hunter Rice. Rice is a real neat story. The senior had no intentions of going to VMI coming out of high school at first. In fact, he was originally committed to head to Army West Point until after signing day, and then he decommitted. Coach Rocco approached him and said he had 1 spot left on the roster. And Hunter took advantage of that 1 spot. He had an opportunity to share the field with his older brother, Jerry, who was a exceptional place kicker a few years back. Those two.
Great name.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Jerry Rice, great name.
even if you are a kicker. Oh, pressure comes, dumped back inside the 5. Sylvain Yunjuan, who's healthy here in 24.
And if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you love to see this right here. Yunjuan is a guy that is unique. He has long arms, he's long, he's twitchy, he's got great bend around the edge, and he's coming back off of that injury. And this is a guy that can be a huge difference maker for this defense.
So much experience with Yunjuan, 26 years old, the second oldest player in the ACC. This is trouble for Georgia Tech as you see their leader up front, Zeke Biggers, down on the turf. This is a guy they can ill afford to lose.
And you hate to see when they're checking for the stability. I mean, he's getting up, and this is a great sign. He's walking off without any help. He has been really impressive. He's lost a lot of weight. He's gotten himself in the best shape of his career. He's a guy with that size. They talked about not his play at the line of scrimmage, but what he does when the ball is past him, pursuing down the field. And we saw that earlier on the series where the quarterback took a big hit on the outside because of his pursuit. So you got to hope that he's going to be okay, but a good sign, him walking off the field.
Loves this new system that Santucci has brought. A little more 3 technique for Biggers this year.
He's one of those guys you see at the next level as a 0 technique, you know, clogging up those A-gaps, allowing those linebackers to flow downhill.
This is a situation that Chandler Wilson has looked at a lot. 3rd and long. Shovel to Rice, trying to weave some magic, and Rice gets very close to that first down. Nicely done by the Keydets there, but it'll be about 1.5 yards shy. Fourth and 1 yard.
I consider going for it. I mean, you've got something positive going here. I know you're deep in your own territory. Maybe that's why I'm up here and I'm not down there coaching.
Well, that offense was with you. They were staying out on the field until the last possible second before Rocco sends out Shrewsbury. 6th punt today for Shrewsbury as the rain starts to fall a little bit heavier. Dangerous catch, and staying on his feet, Rodney Shelley trying to follow a lead block, and he does. Shelley has the corner. Second dynamite return from Rodney Shelley, and Georgia Tech starting in plus territory one more time in this second quarter.
And a good job by the long snapper, number 27, Austin Fletcher, to force Shelley to slow down just a little bit. I saw he got knocked out with the block, but that forcing Shelley to slow down allowed pursuit to get over to that side of the field, because if he did not slow him down, he had an edge to turn that corner and get more north and south earlier. And I think if he would have gotten north and south, we may be looking at Georgia Tech celebrating a return for a touchdown.
2 explosive returns by Shelley in this first half. Haynes King in the offense in great shape. First down, King rolls right, throws with this rain falling, pass is caught. Singleton with the grab as 3 Keydets collide. Singleton to the 28, gain of 14 and a first down.
And we saw previously Haynes King facing some pressure, VMI bringing a lot of blitz packages, exotic blitzes. So what they're doing now, they're sprinting him outside the pocket, giving him more leverage to get down the field with the football.
4th catch today for Singleton. Now power football untouched. 10 more yards, make it 11 and 12 tacked on late there, and that's Maddox again, who's been the most effective rusher today.
And who's he running behind? The big fella, Jackson Hoss, the transfer from Yale. You see 6'5", 260 getting down the field.
Impressive debut, Trelain Maddox. 6 rushes, 43 yards with a freshman who, when talking with the coaches, just grinned when they mentioned his name. Georgia Tech, another trip into the red zone as we hit the 2-minute timeout. Rambling Wreck in control, looking for more late.
Visual Tech Stage 4 locations on the main concourse. Receive your slopestyle tee for $19.95.
Year 2 in Atlanta for Haynes King, and he just continues to make the right decisions here in his second season. You see the numbers, 12 of 17, 194 yards, no interceptions coming in, just the one pick thrown this year. And maybe most importantly for us, we talked about it in the opening, he's not running the football today. They're getting the running backs involved, which was a priority. Play fake. King with time, floats back of the end zone, touchdown, Eric Singleton.
Singleton was open for so long, Haynes King almost ran out of room because he waited to pass the ball to him. The defenders got lost on this play. You see him coming from the other side of the field. You see a mix-up in coverage. The defender came up. He thought he had coverage on the backside from the safety. There was no one there, and King read it perfectly. He allowed him to clear the backside defender in the middle of the field, and there was no one else there for the touchdown.
Second straight week that Eric Singleton is showing some life after a slow start to this year. He had 5 catches for 86 yards a week ago, and now he finds the end zone.
You see right there, you see the crossing route from the opposite side. Haynes King does a good job of putting just enough air under the football to not allow Seamus Jones, number 2, the rover, to drop back. You saw Seamus trying to drop back to get on top of that football, but there was just enough air under it to allow Seamus not to be able to make a play on it, and Singleton ran and caught the ball right at the back of the end zone. He almost waited a little bit too long on that play, but I like the fact that he put enough air under the football to avoid Seamus Jones being able to make a play on it.
Singleton having a big first half, really one of the breakout stars of the ACC a year ago.
Well, you think about it, Sean, you've got Christian Leary, you've got Singleton, you've got Lane, you've got Rutherford. All of these are slot-type receivers with top-end speed that most defense will have a problem covering. Well, you don't have one, you've got 4. So that's the difference maker with this offense. Haynes King knows where to go with the football.
Coming up tonight, 8 Eastern over on the ACC Network. It's more college football as Virginia hosts Maryland. Also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com, the ultimate viewing guide to live sports.
On the last drive, VMI went with a shuffle pass, and that almost got them a first down on that 3rd and long. They need to do more plays like that. Draw plays, shuffle pass, quick hitch plays, short crossing routes, quick plays to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands.
First career start today for Chandler Wilson as they try to stretch the field to the boundary side. This is Destin Moore, and they just have had no luck trying to get outside on this Georgia Tech defense. Romello Height, another stop.
Well, I just don't think you're going to be successful going east and west against this defense because they're a penetrating defense. They're not a read and react. They're getting up the field. And when you face defenses like that, you've got to get quick hit plays. You've got to use their speed and their aggression against them.
Great speed on that defensive line, as you talked about, with Scott, Height. See Josh Robinson out there now. He's having best start of his career. Pressure comes, that aforementioned defensive line, and it's Mr. Robinson on cue.
And if you look at that play, what's happening with the offensive tackles, they're opening up their outside shoulders. See the offensive tackles opening up those outside shoulders, so the pocket is squeezing down on the quarterback. And the guards and the center have to do a better job of being stout at the point of attack. What they have to do is pick it up and put it down and punch. You can't give ground if you're the guards or the center. If you don't give ground, what you do is you allow the quarterback to step up in the pocket. The tackles keep the width of the pocket. When they open up those outside shoulders, the pocket is squeezed down and the quarterback has nowhere to go.
First sack of the year for Robinson, Georgia Tech.
Please set the game clock to 1 minute 38 seconds. 1-3-8 on the game clock, please.
Do a little adjusting to the game clock. Last week, the Yellow Jackets and their loss to Syracuse. The Orange converted on 10 of 17 on 3rd down. That was a must get fixed right away with defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci, and they've done it. 0 for 7 in this first half for the Keydets. Putting their quarterback in a tough spot. Pressure up the middle. They dump it off. This is Shallow with the catch. And again, the gang tackling by Georgia Tech. Kyle Efer, the first one in. And the Yellow Jackets want that football one more time. They'll use another timeout.
And what I like about what Efer did on that play, he broke down and made that tackle as opposed to flying up trying to make the big hit and make the crowd pleaser. He made sure he made the tackle. Great job on the outside to get the ball back to his offense.
Really enjoyed our conversation, our time yesterday with Brent Key, the 46-year-old for Georgia Tech.
Well, I think he's made some really good decisions with his philosophy, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. Bringing in, a different offensive line coach with a different type of philosophy, different techniques. He wanted his offensive linemen to be well-rounded and have different ways to be successful. And I think that is what you see with this offensive line. They're getting to the outside on their pulls. They're getting to the second-level defenders. And his team is taking on his personality.
Named the interim head coach in 22, just 4 games into the season. And he is a proud Georgia Tech alum. Offensive lineman back in his days here in the flats, and loves working with those big guys up front. Shelley, who's had a heyday on these returns, not this time. Good coverage by VMI, but you go back to Brent Key and his resume throughout the years, and he's worked with Nick Saban. He worked 11 years with George O'Leary. Of coaches know how to win football games. Hard-nosed approach and discipline. Exactly.
And that's what you see from this Georgia Tech ball club. Discipline, discipline, discipline. And he talked about the standard that they're trying to build. And what was interesting when we talked to him, he said, we're a long way away from where we need to be. So they're continuing to build, and they're starting to keep talent home as well.
Opportunity to work the 2-minute offense as it is Malik Rutherford torpedoing ahead up to the 35, a gain of 8. Georgia Tech 2 timeouts. We approach a minute to go in this first half. All Yellow Jackets in this one, the 16th meeting with VMI. Up the middle, a quick hitter. Good job there coming in from the rover spot. Isaiah Grevious. Clock will stop as they move the chains after the Haynes run.
The ball was not made ready for play. It's still first down.
Georgia Tech a little bit too quick that time. Over 300 yards of offense in this first half. King 14 of 19 for 216, the 2 touchdowns. Again, time to throw, juggling catch. This is Bailey Stockton getting out of bounds.
And we talked about this offensive line. They haven't given up a sack this year. You saw on that play they tried to run a stunt. Good job passing it off. The offensive line is doing exactly what you want them to do. Give your quarterback the time to go through his progressions, get the ball down the field. If you don't get a touchdown, you still want to try and get yourselves in a position to try and attempt a field goal.
Just one of 15 teams entering this week as far as the offensive line not allowing a sack. Trend has continued today. Time to choose, and he threads the needle. Along the Georgia Tech sideline, another catch for Eric Singleton and a first down to the VMI 33.
And they're just spreading them out right now, finding holes in the zone and making themselves a target for the quarterback.
19 yards on that last throw and catch. There's the arm strength. There's the move by Avery Boyd, and there's the 6. An exclamation point to a dominant first half.
And once again, that zone defense, what Avery Boyd did was go up the seam, and Haynes King did a good job of getting the ball to him before Asa Locks could get up to try and make a play on it. And once Boyd got the football, you saw him give a little twinkle toes, spin around, and get to the end zone.
Taking a page out of his old wide receiver days before they asked him to move to tight end.
And what it does, it shows you their recognition with this zone defense. They're doing a good job of finding the hole, sitting down, and Haynes King knows exactly where he wants to go with the football. You see right here, he finds his receiver, Singleton, on the edge. He found the hole, and then right here he finds Avery Boyd right in the middle before Asa Locks can get there. And once Boyd gets the football, he spins around, makes a move, and he's in for the touchdown. But a good job by King knowing where to go with the football and finding the holes in that zone, not allowing Boyd to climb up further where Asa Locks could have made a play on it. He got the ball to him right where he needed to, where he could get the reception, turn around, get his footing, see where the defender is, make a ball fake, and get to the end zone.
Brett Key, Buster Faulkner told us the weapon that Avery Boyd can be at tight end. Played receiver his entire career, made the transition to tight end. He's been dinged up though, injured a knee in the spring, and then he was limited this summer. Actually had minor surgery in the summer. Did not report back to the team until about 10 days remaining in camp. So they've been working him back into the rotation.
Well, he reminds me of a player that played for the Atlanta Falcons, Algie Crumpler, with the way he catches the football, his body type. He's not as big as Crumpler, but he reminds me of those soft hands that Crumpler had, the ability to move and maneuver with a bigger body on the outside.
Back-to-back weeks where he has been targeted frequently by Haynes King. 4 catches last week. He has the touchdown here late in this first half.
And he's had some good blocks on the outside as well. So he's giving you the full gambit of what you want to see from the tight end position. Catching the football effectively, blocking on the outside, and being a decoy at times.
This is a really whole new look at tight end with Dylan Leonard and Luke Benson gone to graduation last year for Georgia Tech. So we talked about the Yellow Jackets hitting that transfer portal this offseason and then the position change. Oh my goodness, Rice is absolutely destroyed as a flag is down.
And that's one of those plays you go back to the huddle and you talk to the quarterback about not throwing you the football when the defender is right there set up to put a big hit on.
Holding, offense number 56, penalty is declined, second down.
Yeah, Taj Butler, the freshman, said thank you very much.
You know, this is a difficult part of the game for VMI because you've got a defensive line that's pinning their ears and coming back and coming at them. And you see right here on the outside, you're grabbing the defender and you're basically pulling him down. once again, as an offensive lineman, if they get out of your range and you can't block them, just take them where they want to go, as opposed to trying to take them where you want them to go. If they're trying to get away, just take them where you want them to go.
Wilson will take a knee, and that is going to be
Georgia Tech defense.
Georgia Tech will get the football to start the second half, and as we have seen in some of these FBS, FCS matchups, the two coaching staffs at halftime have agreed to shorten this game, so we will go with 2 10-minute quarters in this second half. And now you look at VMI and what they have coming up with conference play. Georgia Tech, obviously a busy team, their third game already, as far as fourth game overall, 2-1 record coming in, so they have been busy. They have Louisville next week, so they're going to shorten up this game, 10-minute quarters to bring it home. Zach Pyron in the game at quarterback to start this second half as Georgia Tech opens up from the 40-yard line. RPO action, he will throw that tight spiral, and a skidding grab is made. Yes, control established by Bailey Stockton.
And Pyron had two places to go at the football right there. Abdul Jenna was open as well.
VMI got to
Personal
Pyron
foul.
late.
Roughing the passer. Defense. The 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
You see right here, just a tad bit too much on the defender, Eric Rankin. You can't hit the quarterback above the shoulder pads. Good call by the officials. You want to protect your quarterback. It wasn't egregious, but it was a penalty. You cannot hit the quarterback above the shoulder pads.
So after the penalty, now at the 28, first down, Georgia Tech. Boyd and Stockton, the two inside slots. Pyron will keep it. Very good at running with the football, and you see his elusiveness. He's a big body as well, and a double-digit gallop for Pyron, who has seen action in all 4 games this year. He's ran the ball at least once in every game. 6'3", 220 pounds. The redshirt sophomore who just talked about how much he loves working with the Heisman Trophy winner Chris Winkie on a daily basis. Winkie's serving as the co-OC and the quarterback coach, and certainly happy with the effort of Pyron as he again takes it for 11 more yards down to the 5, first and goal.
And think about this, if you're this VMI ball club, you've got those receivers on the outside, those tight ends. You've been dealing with Haynes, you've been dealing with Maddox, and now you bring in Zach Pyron, who's already scored 2 touchdowns, and don't put him, in the position, you put him at quarterback where he's playing the traditional quarterback role, but he's running the football. So you've got so many different things that you've got to be weary of if you're VMI on defense right now.
Beetham, the tight end, in motion. Trelain Maddox gets the call. Maddox knifes his way to the 3, where he is stood up by Dorian Starnes.
And that was a good job by Starnes, Jackson, and Spite at the front end at the point of attack. They did not allow the Georgia Tech offensive line to get movement. They did a good job of holding the stalemate right there at the point of attack.
Maddox leading this ground game today in his Georgia Tech debut. 8 carries, 50 yards for the freshman. Parkview High School. Gets the call again, and for the first time, he finds the end zone. Trelain Maddox, welcome to the Flats. Touchdown, Ramblin' Wreck.
And if you watch Maddox throughout the game, he's getting more and more and more comfortable running the football. One of the things when you come back from a knee injury, and I know it by experience, you have to get that confidence going. But watch it, you see the jump cut, he gets to the outside and he finds the hole, and that's what you're looking for from your running backs. Find the seam, get north and south, get to the end zone. You see the smile on his face, and that's the level of confidence that this young man is building. They've got a nice lightning and thunder package with him and Haynes running the football.
Georgia Tech stays perfect in the red zone, and this is a sight that Yellow Jacket fans are hoping they see a few more of as the year progresses. The freshman in the house. Needed some raincoats today here on this overcast Saturday from Atlanta. Georgia Tech 45-0 over VMI. 7:38 to go here in this third quarter. Again, a shortened second half, 2 10-minute quarters, but Georgia Tech putting up 38 in the first half and not wasting any time on their opening drive, their opening touch to start quarter 3. Take a look at the top 25 scores from today. Alabama rolls on the road. Boston College falls at number 6, Missouri. LSU rallies to get by South Carolina. Michigan, bounce back performance, they win. Oregon and Oregon State in their annual shootout, while Utah State Forest early lead over Utah.
Interesting score, that Utah State-Utah game. But what's more interesting is the way the SEC is continuing to go up to the Big Ten and win convincingly. You saw last week with Texas and Michigan, and this week Alabama and Wisconsin.
JoJo Crump on first down. Dangerous runner as quarterback as he gets 2 yards up ahead to the 27-yard line. Kevin Harris, the senior from Loganville, and on the stop. Continue to rotate quarterbacks at certain times. Crump, the 3 times he's been out there, has carried the football. Chandler Wilson, a starter again. He's in there for the injured Colin Shannon. Play designed to go right, nowhere to go, so he just throws it away. Shannon started the first 2 weeks the incumbent, the team captain. He got injured late in the game last week for Danny Rocco, and forced, unfortunately for the Keydets, Shannon wasn't the only casualty last week against Bucknell.
Well, when you lose your two top receivers in Egypt Nelson and VJ Johnson on the outside, Nelson has intriguing size at 6'4". He's one of those guys you can throw the ball up to, and VJ Johnson is a speed receiver, a slot guy. When you lose those two weapons, it limits what you can do offensively.
VMI looking for their first third down conversion. 0 of 8 today. Georgia Tech runs a stunt, picked up, and this passing complete. Just trying to find Thorpe. Good coverage on the play by Saeed Gibbs, and a 3-and-out for the Keydets.
And I think you saw a little bit of youth on that play by Wilson. The offensive line did a good job of picking up that stunt. He had an opportunity, I think, to go through his progressions and look to the other side of the field. But because he's been under so much pressure throughout this afternoon, he got rid of the ball, I thought, prematurely on that play.
Maybe the MVP today for VMI has been their punter Shrewsbury, 47-yard average. That's another good one. Charging in as Shelley spins away, then runs into his own blocker and is corralled at the 34. Georgia Tech in this offense will go back to work. The Ramblin' Wreck in control here against VMI. By 45, still coaching his heart out, that intensity that we saw yesterday in practice.
I absolutely love it. He's an offensive lineman. The offensive line is the only position on the field that every single play is designed for you to make contact with someone. And you see the intensity, and his team embodies that.
Offense number 50.
It's the embodiment of his team, adapting his personality, and they assimilate to what Coach Key is trying to build. And that's how you build a champion. You continue to coach. This is an opportunity to coach the second and third teamers. Those guys are getting live action.
After further discussion, delay a game for disconcerting signals. Defense number 21, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So what happens is if the defense cannot do anything to simulate the snap count, meaning they can't clap when you see quarterbacks clapping to get the ball, they can't say hike or hut, and they're doing something like that to simulate the snap count. So you see what happened there. They probably said hike, and they're simulating what the quarterback was saying. That's why the center almost snapped the football. That's why they got the call.
From the 40-yard line, Pyron will throw on the run, and it is a bullet to a sliding Christian Leary, who makes the catch. On to plus territory for the Yellow Jackets.
Once again, you're sprinting Pyron out of the pocket, giving him time to get the ball down the field. A good job by the receiver, cradling that football, getting it close to his body, not allowing the ball to move.
$17 yards on the completion, and now they run that jet sweep. And good open field tackle, nowhere to go. In fact, a loss of 2. That's the sophomore Isaiah Grievous.
And a good job by Grievous, one-on-one in the open field, making that tackle. And a lot of people will say, you know, why is Georgia Tech throwing the football right now? Why are they really trying to get vertical with the passing game? Well, this is live action. You're not going to see live action in practice. You want to protect your players. So this is a great opportunity for the second and third teamers and guys that may have to come in and fill in for someone when they get hurt to get live action.
Like they wanted to set up that screen. That's a decoy. They loft it downfield. Leo Blackburn has it knocked away. Noel Innocent got the hand in there in the nick of time.
And I am impressed with Pyron on this play because he saw the pressure. It was immediate, but he stood tall in the pocket, waited until the final minute, or excuse me, the final second to get rid of that football. He wanted to allow his receiver time to clear, but he sees the pressure. But he stays tall in the pocket and delivers the ball. Just a better play by the defender on the backside, Innocent, to get that ball out of there.
Yeah, he knew he was going to pay a price. Third down and 11. Let's see if VMI comes after him. They do. Quick throw. Stockton had it, then he lost it. Let's see how they rule this. Georgia Tech ends up back on the football, but they're going to say incomplete.
And Seamus Jones I think he's tired of them throwing the ball over his head. He got an opportunity to make a play on the football, and that is exactly what he did. And if you're Coach Rocco, you've got to be happy with the series that your defense just played out there. That was a good job by those guys. They're flying all over the field. They're still playing with a lot of energy, and they're playing through the snap, and that's what you want to see.
Ivan Thorpe awaiting this punt. Thorpe will field at the 5, and he is cut down right there. 39-yard punt. Kenny, welcoming you back to Bobby Dodd Stadium. 5:20 to go, third quarter. Georgia Tech with the lead. It's going to be a good one tonight for us as you look at the Terps. And man, when they lead the Big Ten, they are tough. 13 consecutive non-conference wins. That's second longest in the country. And then the hot start for Virginia. Can they keep it rolling?
Well, Coach Elliott's got that Virginia team playing extremely well. They're a very confident ball club, and this is going to be a very intriguing matchup. You've got a Maryland ball club that it should be a great ball game.
Offsides on first down. New quarterback is Brady Hammonds. He will hand the football off. He's got power to get to the outside as Scheidt, and he is driven out by Zach Toby, who has seen significant action today. And there's a good look at Hammonds. True freshman out of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Talked to Danny Rocco, and he just simply said this guy has the it factor, part of a really good 2024 recruiting cycle for Rocco, and it's significant because that was his first full recruiting cycle class that he brought in.
Well, one of the things he talked about is developing players. He said, you know, we have to find a way to utilize the talent that we have. We take the best player we can get as opposed to trying to find a guy that fits our system. And we get those guys in and we coach them up to be the best that they can be doing what we do.
And that was really a prevalent point and very important when you look at a lot of these FCS programs. And when you get to that talent pool and some of the athletes you can bring in, you can't be stubborn with a system.
Absolutely not. You've got to find talent, and when you get that talent, you have to envision how you can take that talent and make it work with what you want to do offensive and defensive philosophy-wise.
Rocco has certainly been able to do that throughout his years. Take a look at the discrepancy, not just on the scoreboard, but also on the stats. VMI looking for just their second first down today. Third down and a yard. They bring that linebacker blitz, and there is nowhere to go for JoJo Crump. Just destroyed Vandenberg. with that swim move inside, and then there was plenty of help after him.
Well, you see they've got immediate pressure. You got the linebacker basically running over the offensive lineman. They're playing press man on the outside, so there's nowhere to go with the quick pass game. There's just nothing there for Hammonds and nowhere for him to go with the football.
Tay Seymour, who's in there for the injured LaMiles Brooks. They have a good one in Seymour, and this is a safety room that they were looking to build some depth coming into the season. You have both Brooks and Powell Lee, two veterans of the defense, but to get a young guy, the sophomore like Seymour, who grew up right here in Atlanta, stepping up like he has, that's going to pay dividends as they go deeper into ACC play. Coming up tonight at 8 Eastern over on the ACC network, it's more college football as Virginia hosts Maryland. Also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com, the ultimate viewing guide to live sports. Third offensive series for Georgia Tech in this third quarter. Pyron back out there. It's like they have been on plus territory all afternoon long, and now it's Chad Alexander getting to the outside. Alexander wrapped up high, but not before he picks up 13 and a first down to the 27.
And what an impressive run by Alexander, running out of those arm tackles. There are 2 times he should have been down. You've got a defender coming up right here, he should be down. And then right there, it should be down, but he stays up, and that can be demoralizing to a defense when you get hands on the running back and he does not go down.
Chad Alexander is a Brent Key type of guy, the walk-on, and Key just loves him, especially the way he stepped up in the game against Florida State. This is who we are as a football team. A lot of these players may be overlooked, not as big, not as fast, but tough and resilient, just like Key was in his playing days here at Georgia Tech.
Well, you look at Chad Alexander, 5'9", 185 pounds, and he runs best between the tackles. That play, he was running to the outside zone, but he is best running between the tackles, and that's what you want. You want a guy that's extremely versatile. That makes your offense that much more difficult for a defense to game plan and scheme against.
Second down, quick throw. Leo Blackburn picks up a block, and he will take it to the end zone. Touchdown. What a block by Benjamin Galloway to spring it.
And when you can get a 6'4", 310-pound offensive tackle on the outside to make the kick-out block, that lets you know the athletic ability of this young man, a redshirt freshman. They are looking forward to him for 3 more years on this ball club. But a great job getting to the outside, getting the block, and Leo Blackburn plants that foot, gets north and south, and there's no one there to make the tackle.
You talk about perseverance. Leo Blackburn would be an inspirational story. Not 1, not 2, but 3 significant injuries throughout his career. Missed all of last year with a knee injury. Had a knee injury in fall camp of 21, had a wrist injury in 22. How good this one must have felt for Blackburn. Pyron knows his story along with the rest of this Georgia Tech staff, his teammates. Blackburn finds the end zone for the Jackets.
And Blackburn is another example of this Georgia Tech team getting home talent to stay home. He's from Westlake High School. They've got a great program out at Westlake, and you see what happens when you're able to keep guys home, keep them into the system. You know, he's, like you said, he's gone through those injuries, but he never lost faith in his ability to come through that and get back on the field, and you see he's helping his ball club right now. And he's a nice big target for this quarterback and for this quarterbacking staff. 6'5", 220 pounds. You think Calvin Johnson, Demarius Thomas, some of those big receivers in this program that you see traditionally with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We both did a double take when he walked by us yesterday here at the football facility.
Yeah, I was like, is this an outside linebacker? This dude is huge. I mean, great looking kid.
He's a big man. Wednesday, women's volleyball on the ACC network highlights the #1 team in the country. Top-ranked Pitt hosts #3 Penn State. at the Peterson Events Center. A sellout of 12,000 strong expected. Coverage gets underway Wednesday, September 18th at 7 Eastern. Here comes Brady Hammonds back out for VMI. Hammonds, a three-sport athlete at Pittman High School in Tennessee. Football, basketball, baseball. Coming off a season in which he threw for over 2,300 yards his senior year. Gets rid of it quickly. Ethan Horn, the freshman from Woodbridge, Virginia.
And Hammonds has to get rid of the football because the interior linemen are getting pushed back into his lap. They've got to sit down, pick it up, put it down. No kick step from the guard to the center. You've got to be stout at the point of attack. You've got to punch. You've got to get inside hands. You've got to fight. You've got to have violent hands.
Second down, they bring a blitz, picked up nicely. 50-50 ball downfield. Flag flies, a lot of contact as they were looking for the tight end Lotsky and looked like he was being held.
Pass interference, defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Lotsky is a player that's going to give a lot of teams fits in the SoCon.
The foul was on number 28.
He's a wide receiver slash tight end that they certainly look at to a lot as far as the passing game goes. And that time, Austin Dean had to grab onto a jersey to slow him down. Penalty takes it to the 41-yard line. They will hand the ball off. And that has been the theme today. Nowhere to go. Saeed Gibbs coming in from his defensive back position.
And Gibbs was untouched on that play. They've got to have someone to cover Gibbs up. You see the back is getting the ball and the defender's right there meeting him as he gets the handoff. The offensive linemen have to do a better job of accounting for that extra defensive lineman or linebacker walking up.
Hammonds with time, communication, the timing off, which is going to happen with these younger players. Bring up a third down and 11. Not on the same page was Ethan Horn. You have one true freshman throwing to another true freshman there.
But once again, this is an opportunity to get live reps. You can never simulate the speed of the game in practice.
Keydets 0 for 10 on third down. 3rd and 11 from their own 40. Flushed right. Now Hammonds with a lot of space. He's going to take off and run, go into a protective slide. And they can't have sense blood in the water this afternoon. Look at this defensive effort. 56 yards. Total offense as VMI goes to work to start this fourth quarter, and a perfectly thrown football, and Owen Sweeney hauls it in. He beat Toby, and the biggest gain of the day for the Keydets.
And you could not have made a more perfect statement. That ball was right there. When he looked up, the ball fell into his lap. You could not have run a better route or had a better throw on that route. Just a go route on the outside, and a good job by Hammond getting the ball to Sweeney.
28 yards again, freshman to freshman. Sweeney with his first catch as a Keydet. Big hole opens up left side. Shipe with the stiff arm stays on his feet. He's giving ground and is corralled all the way back at the 15. Gibbs and Tajay Butler in on the stop.
I think Shipe is cramping right now.
Point injury.
It looks like he's cramping.
Say forward progress up around the 12-yard line for Shipe. We'll take an injury timeout. 9:10 to go here in this fourth quarter.
Fans, get to your feet. It's time to get pumped with our favorite mascot, Buzz the Hero. Hero.
10-minute quarters in this second half. Georgia Tech, yeah, they have stung today. The Hornets, Jackets ripping away 52-0. You see the third and fourth quarters, both coaching staffs agreed. Let's cut this down to 10 minutes with Georgia Tech leading 38-0 at the break. Deepest penetration of the afternoon for VMI, and there's nowhere to go for Luke Shallow. Right off contact, Shallow hitting the backfield. There is a flag down as well at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 28. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
It's Austin Dean who got a hand up.
And you see right here at the end of the play, he inexplicably grabs the quarterback's face mask. One of the things I've noticed about these linebackers, though, that they've done a really good job of, something they did not do last year, is getting skinny. And when I say getting skinny, being slippery and not allowing those linemen to cover them up and hit them. The Georgia Tech linebackers were used to engulfing and taking on those linebackers, and those linemen. And as an offensive lineman, you love for a linebacker to try and take you on because you're usually bigger and stronger. They're faster, they're using their speed, and they're getting up the field and avoiding those linemen.
Quarterback keeper and trying to bounce off the initial contact. Went ahead for a yard, 2nd and goal.
And a lot of that is because of Coach Santucci and the scheme that he's brought. We talked to him about that yesterday, and he talked about his linebackers being slippery. He said there are going to be some times where you have to hulk up and be the Hulk and, be strong and run through somebody and man and hat up. But he wants those guys to be slippery and be able to get up the field and get to the ball carriers and the quarterback.
Kate Cox, the new quarterback, the 4th signal caller today. Cox trying to keep those legs churning, still working. And finally, the whistles come in. Good effort there by the redshirt freshman who was not going to be denied. All about pride right now for us. 3rd down and goal. Obviously, VMI looking for their first points of the day. This Georgia Tech defense.
4th down territory right here, Sean. I think you go for it on 4th. You try and get a touchdown. You want to come away with something. You always say you want to get points, but I think right now inside the 5-yard line, you've got to try and get a touchdown here.
Cox, exit stage right. They bring back Brady Hammonds. Twin receivers, bottom of the screen. They play fake it, and Hammonds is going to keep it, and he just runs into a pile of humanity. 3, 4 different Jackets just prying at the football. Jordan Boyd, one of them.
A pile of humanity. I like that. Well, you know what? You watch what Georgia Tech's defense is doing. They're squeezing down. So I don't think you're going to get anything between the guards in those 8 gaps. One of the things Georgia Tech has a lot of, and that's big bodies in the middle. And you talked about it earlier. They've got more depth than they've had in the past. So they've got fresh bodies that they're running in there.
4th and goal. VMI did not have the right personnel, so they're going to use a timeout. We'll take a break with them. The Keydets looking to find the end zone for the first time today.
Charge timeout. VMI, their first of the half. Media timeout.
Night with Kentucky. All right, 4th and goal. Hammond's back in, out of the shotgun, flanked by Luke Shallow to the right. Destin Moore, the inside slot, Horn to his right. That's the direction they go. Hammonds throws on the run, sliding catch is made for the touchdown. Ethan Horn with the touchdown catch, and VMI is on the board.
And a great play call by the coaching staff for VMI. You sprint Hammonds outside the pocket, give him additional time to find his receiver, and a good job by Thorpe getting down, getting under that football. Horn getting under that football. That's what you want your receivers to do, help you when you have to throw the ball low. But I like sprinting Hammonds outside of the pocket, giving him the extra time that he needed to get the ball down the field. Now the question is, did he catch the football? I thought he did. They're taking a second look at it. From where I can see right here, it looks like he has possession of the football. This will be a better look right here. Did he get his hands under the football?
See the towel getting lost?
So the ball hit his chest. He's got the ball. He's squeezing it. I think that's a touchdown. Good job by Horn. Squeeze that football.
Lost his towel, lost his mouth guard, but hangs on to the football. Brady Hammonds with his first touchdown pass of his young career. The true freshman. Who's he find? Another true freshman, Ethan Horn. The freshmen at VMI are called the Rats. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Delivering late here for the Keydets. Danny Rocco watching his offense take it down the field for the first time today. Something positive late as VMI on the board. 52-7 Georgia Tech. 10-play, 75-yard drive for the Keydets. They were able to convert on 4th down. Squib kick. Soft hands by one of the big men up front, scooped up cleanly. Now you go back to Virginia Military Institute, and they are built around those qualities of discipline, humility, precision, obeying orders, and everybody is called a rat the first year at VMI. All freshmen and even transfers. You might be a senior transfer that comes in, and you are part of the rat line. It all starts with matriculation day. The day you say goodbye and you march to your barracks, you meet your cadre, and then you go through what they term Hell Week and the rat line, which is an extended boot camp. 1 week of rigid attention, sweat parties, eating correctly, all the traditions of VMI. And then the crucible caps off Hell Week. And then you gravitate toward the final line, the 6 months. The rat line culminates with the breakout. All about discipline, and it's really admirable.
Grown people business.
It really is. Georgia Tech. Quarterback checking in for the Yellow Jackets. This is Brody Rhodes, the redshirt junior, and he's just going to hand the football off and watch the downfield magic. Finally knocked out of bounds. Huge run there for Anthony Carrie, the true freshman. There is a flag down. However, that flag down at the 35-yard line, so way downfield.
Holding. Offense number 13. 10-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10.
And watch Carrie, he's just a very shifty back. He's able to get to the second level before he sees a defender. And then watch the shiftiness. He's able to step, get to the outside, switches the ball, what you want your running backs to do, keep the ball to the outside away from those defenders, keeping the ball high and tight. Those are the little intangibles that the coaching staff look for. Not just the big run, but what did you do during the big run?
They call Carrie Scuda, that's his nickname, and he burst onto the scene against Georgia State, the true freshman out of Tampa, Florida. It's really an interesting story. He went to Carrollwood Day High School, and that was where Georgia Tech actually practiced for their bowl game last year when they beat UCF. So Carrie had a chance to watch Georgia Tech get set for that bowl game, and now here he is, less than a year later, part of that backfield for the Yellow Jackets. Pass is tipped and knocked away, incomplete.
And the coaching staff talked about Carrie. They said they wanted to get him the ball more. He's what they call a box player. But they said every time he touched the ball, he gets 5 to 6 yards to carry. So that is something that they want to continue to do, is to develop that backfield like they've done this afternoon with Maddox, with Carrie. You know, limiting the amount of carries that Haynes has. We know he came in a little banged up, so you didn't want to, you know, get his usage very high. And they've found some other backs to help out in that backfield.
3rd down and 9, taking a shot downfield, and this one a little bit too far out in front, incomplete. Crowd wanted a flag, but good defense that time. Looking for Isaiah Canyon, and this crowd still dialed in. 5 minutes to go.
And that's a rocket for an arm. You saw the way that ball flew through the air, just a bit outside. If he takes a little bit off of it or put us a little bit more air under the football, that would allow the receiver to run under it. But I like them trying to get the ball down the field on that vertical pass game.
Charge timeout. Georgia Tech, their first of the half. 30 seconds.
Coming up on the ACC network at 6:30 Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will bring you highlights and complete breakdowns of all the afternoon football games as they get you ready for Maryland, Virginia tonight at 8 o'clock. And they'll also have a full post-game show to wrap up the night. Good one tonight, 6:30 Eastern. The fans enjoying this one, a solid showing, and this is what Georgia Tech expects after a loss, at least, especially since Brent Key has taken over this program. See the yardage they have put up, close to 500 yards for the Yellow Jackets. A lot of that through the air. Haynes King played just the first half, and they went to Pyron in the third quarter, rotating a couple of quarterbacks. In this fourth quarter, the ground game was able to get going early. Trelain Maddox introduced to the flats for the first time, leading the way. Fourth down and 9. They keep the offense out there. Philo stays on his feet, has a receiver behind the secondary, and it's caught inside the 5. First and goal.
A good job by the offensive line. They showed blitz pre-snap. They dropped the linebackers back. And the quarterback did a good job of keeping his feet and then finding his receiver down the field. Nice job by Philo.
Chris Elko with the catch, and now the finishing touches from Anthony Carrie. Freshman all over the field right now for Georgia Tech.
And there's so much to like about that drive. The offensive lineman being able to pick up the blitz, the quarterback being able to stay on his feet, show balance, and he kept his eyes down the field as he had immediate pressure. He's able to deliver a strike, and then you hand the ball off to Carrie, who's been doing an excellent job running the football in this fourth quarter. You see here, you've got immediate pressure, but Philo does a good job of staying on his feet. You see right here, he fakes out the defender, he gets his hands down, but he's keeping his eyes down the field. And that's what you want your quarterback to do. Don't panic. He keeps his eyes down the field and he delivers a strike. And you see right there, that's all you can ask for from your quarterback. And then here, the touchdown run, Carrie getting to the end zone. Carrie's been handling the ball and carrying the ball extremely effective. He gets his little dance at the end. And this is, like you said earlier, Sean, I mean, this has just been the perfect game plan for Georgia Tech throughout this afternoon. If there's one thing negative they can say, they allowed a score in the latter part of this football game. But outside of that, they have done everything that you can ask your football team to do, especially after coming off of a tough loss.
Great catch by Elko to set up that last touchdown. Yeah, they've had everything go the way they were hoping. The bounce back win. Jamal Haynes gets a little bit of a break to heal up. He entered, as you mentioned, a little dinged up. The secondary gets experience. Nola Miles Brooks. Players such as Zach Toby, Tay Seymour continue to fill the void.
You worry about Zeke Biggers. You hope he's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing that happened in the first half, and they're going to need all hands on deck next week. Louisville playing really well, 19th ranked in the country. Then they get that bye, and they're going to relax and heal up during the bye week before they dive right back to it. All ACC action up until the finale and the annual showdown with Georgia.
And Coach Key talked about the need for that bye, because remember, this is a ball club that's already played 3 football games. So they've played more games pretty much than anybody else in the country. They come off of that 9-hour flight on a short week and have to play against a crosstown team that is hungry for a big win against this team. A lot of guys played against one another in high school. It's one of those budding type of rivalries as Georgia Tech and Georgia State play more midtown versus downtown. You come off of that emotional win, then you lose that game at Syracuse. You come back and you have a big win now. You've got that big game next week at Louisville. So they're looking forward to getting to that bye. The question is, can they go into the bye 4-1, or will they go into the bye 3-2?
Second down, nothing open downfield, so just booking it to the outside and getting out of bounds.
And You know, Sean, I want to give credit to this VMI ball club as well. They continue to fight. They continue to play. And that's what you want to see from your team. Compete, compete, compete. That's how you get better. That's how you develop character. And one of the things Coach Rocco talked about is, I'm positive every day. He knows it's a very challenging place to win, but it's also a unique opportunity for he and his coaching staff to teach these young men.
Third down RPO, and deciding to tuck and run was JoJo Crump, and he'll be 2 yards shy of the first down, setting up a 4th down. Montre Bradford in on the stop, and VMI will send out the punting unit. Football family, when you look at Danny Rocco, his father Frank was his high school coach actually, and Frank worked on Joe Paterno's staff for nearly 2 decades. His brother Frank has coached 40 years, and opportunity to educate these young Keydets. On the return, working near the short side, and good job making the most out of not a lot of space. Stockton, turn of 21 yards. This Georgia Tech defense is going to have to be keying in on those details next week as they get ready to have the task of trying to slow down the powerful offense of Louisville. And you look at what they have put up, eye-popping numbers, 55 points per game, close to 600 yards of offense. And oh yeah, they don't turn the ball over either.
Interesting matchup next week. And I expect Georgia Tech to be back in the top 25. You know, I think they have shown that they are a top 25 ball club. But if they aren't, next week will show and prove if they go in and win that football game.
Design draw up the middle. Good gain up to the 44. Yeah, you look at the ACC coming into this week. 4 ranked teams in the top 25. Miami's been the story so far. Louisville, Clemson, and Boston College. BC losing earlier today to Missouri. Mentioned Georgia Tech, one of those teams. They were into the top 25 briefly before the loss last week at Syracuse.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Bounce back performance here. We hit the 2-minute timeout. The home stretch from the flats. multiple stings today imposed by these Yellow Jackets. We hit the 2-minute timeout from Atlanta. Overcast, late afternoon, early evening. Rick Key will run his record 9-2 following a Georgia Tech loss. Has always been able to get the Yellow Jackets to bounce back. He was asked by local media this week, why is that? Why are you so good after a loss? And he really did not have an answer. Says they don't practice any differently. There's no extra focus or attention as far as mixing it up following a loss. Just that Georgia Tech mantra, just taking on the embodiment of their coach, his persona.
One of the things I thought that was more interesting, they talked about their Friday practices. They have a Friday practice before games. Usually teams have a walkthrough. They actually get out and get a good lather going. He said because you don't want to go 48 hours without getting a lather going and getting prepared. He doesn't like the idea of just having walkthroughs on Friday. So I like the way they do things a little bit different here. They go very hard and extreme on Tuesday and Wednesday practices as well. And I asked him about that. I said, well, Coach, after that loss, was it a tougher week of practice? And he was like, no, we just did the same thing that we usually do. We go hard in the paint on Tuesday and Wednesday. We get a good lather on Friday, and we get ready to play on Saturday.
Yeah, he really credited A.J. Artis, his strength and conditioning coach, for really setting the tone after that loss once they arrived back here in Atlanta from Syracuse.
And they didn't hang their heads. I love that about how this program is running and operating. He talked about that being about, being a part of the learning curve as they continue to get better. And he told us when we first started talking, he said, hey, we're nowhere near where we need to be and where we're going. So that lets you know they've got goals and they've got a line of where they want to be, and they're building towards that.
Good patience on this throw, and a first down grab knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. That is Luke Harpering on what should be Harpering's first career catch, the freshman from Atlanta. He was one of those guys that the coaching staff talked about who has earned the right to play from their effort, not just in practice, but on special teams units. Tight end that has a bright future. What might be the final carry of the day, Anthony Carrie gets 3, and Georgia Tech in a big way this afternoon. The 16th all-time meeting between these two universities. And for the 15th time, Georgia Tech prevailed. The respect between Brett Key and Danny Rocco, 59-7, Yellow Jackets.